This is a door that's recently been put on in a house that's been converted into a HMO. So first of all, we'll just put our reference number on it, so if anyone ever calls the office or we need to refer back to this door, we have a record. I know it's a 30-minute fire door with a fire and smoke seal. I measure the door and then I measure the frame. In this example, it's a new door, so they're not going to replace the door, but a lot of the time they might have to replace the door, and it's not just good enough to measure the door because the frame could be out. If there's a variation in the top and the bottom of the door, I'll put that on the report, so when the guys are ordering the door, they can bear that in mind. That looks pretty square though. Then I check the frame. So it's got the old frame, but they put on new door stops. They're screwed in, which is correct. Not pinned. Screwing in is more solid. It's more secure, especially in the case of a fire. If you just have light pins, thin pins, and there's a fire, it's not going to hold it. As well as the screws. So regular intervals, and they should have glued the door stop to the frame as well, which I'm guessing that they've done, but I can't tell that. But I'm satisfied that there are screws in there. But there is a little hole at the top there. It may be that the guys haven't finished, but I'll put it on my report. But you can see daylight through that one. So I'm going to mark that. Okay, then we move on to hinges. So a 30-minute fire door needs to have 3 fire-rated stainless steel hinges. So we have 3 hinges, and they're brand new. They have a CE marking, they're grade 13 hinges, and then behind the hinges, I can't see it because I'm only doing a visual inspection, the guys should have put intumescent pads behind the hinges. The intumescent pad behind the hinge, when it reaches a certain temperature, will cause a solid barrier between the hinge and the frame. So if the frame catches light, it will protect the heat transfer from the frame to the hinge, protecting the impact on the heat on the hinge, so it will keep its integrity and keep the door in place. Fire doors are typically heavier than a normal door. So you need 3 hinges to withhold the weight of the door. And then over time, if you don't have sufficient support by 3 hinges, the door will drop and it will leave a gap at the top. And that is also why you need to have fire-rated hinges. Like these are grade 13 hinges, and the grade denotes what weight the hinges have been tested on, and grade 13 means that they can take up to 120 kg. So that means you need to have the 3 hinges for it to be able to take the 120 kg. So when this door was tested by the supplier, they would have tested it with 3 fire-rated hinges and with a seal. So for it to meet its 30-minute fire resistance, it will only meet it once it has all the correct components around the door as well. This is a 15mm fire and smoke seal, and there has to be top on both sides, which it is, routed out. You need to have a closer, and the closer should close the door from all angles. They normally say it should shut the door within 6 seconds, which this one does. But sometimes when you do it, it can take ages to shut the door, then you have to adjust the speed. So if we try and close it from there, it closes. So a lot of the time you might get doors that will close on this angle, and that's fine. But it won't close from this angle, and it needs to be able to do that. So in the event of a fire where people have rushed out of the room, the door needs to ensure that the door closes behind them. Okay, we're just going to check for gaps. So you're allowed to have up to 4mm gap on sides and the top of the door, and up to 10mm at the bottom. So the tops are good, sides are good, bottom's good, but there is a little deviation there. So that is a 6.5mm gap there. And because this is an old building, you're going to find stuff like this. So that frame needs amending. Yeah, so it looks like an old lock, an old latch has been taken out. So really that needs to be filled in, so that is straight all the way along. So for it to be a 30-minute fire door, it has to be 44mm thick. So I know this is because this is an engineered fire door, but you'll come across older doors that were initially installed as a fire door. So we'd measure the thickness, we'd make sure it's solid. It won't have any labelling on it. So we have to make a call, is it a notional fire door, or do they need to replace the door? That's it.